In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the exact system we use to create 80 pieces of high quality content every single month while only spending 4 hours filming, and is directly responsible for slashing ad costs by up to 7 times while making sales calls feel effortless. It's called the ADP system, and it flies in the face of what most high-ticket coaches and consultants are being told to do when it comes to content. Because everyone's chasing viral reels and talking head videos, hoping to build an audience, but this system focuses on one core thing: manufacturing trust at scale so your prospects show up to sales calls already convinced they want to work with you. So by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how you can build the system for yourself, what pieces you need, and how they all fit together to create a client acquisition machine that actually converts. Now, if you're a high-ticket coach, course creator, or consultant spending at least 5K per month on ads, this is not only the best way to scale right now, but the ones who don't implement a content system like this will be left behind in the next 3 to 4 years. Organic content is no longer optional, it's a necessity. Why? Because what used to work a few years ago is just no longer sustainable. See, most people's client acquisition looks something like this. Someone who's never heard of you, sees your ad, maybe click through to your VSL or webinar, then they book a call. But between the time when they book a call and when they actually show up, they get hit by a million other ads from your competitors, and they don't even know who you are anymore or why they booked your call in the first place. So your sales rep spends most of that call convincing them of the value of your program. They go through the demo, the prospect says something like, "This sounds great, but I'll think about it and get back to you soon," and then they ghost you. As ad costs are rising, accounts are being shut down left and right, and Instagram and YouTube feeds are drowning in talking head content. Competition is now higher than ever, and trust is at a historical low. Clients are more skeptical than they've ever been. This all leads to higher cost per book call, lower show-up rates, and you spending the majority of your sales calls trying to convince prospects to come over the line. Ultimately just getting ghosted or losing business to your better known competition. In short, the customer journey has evolved and your marketing needs to evolve with it. Google proved this with their 7-4-11 study, which found that there's a step in the customer buying process that wasn't there before, and they call it the zero moment of truth. The zero moment of truth is the step that happens after someone's initial exposure to your brand. The data showed that consumers now go through a process of educating themselves before making a decision to purchase or not. In essence, they make the buying decision before they even get on a sales call with you, before you ever even meet them. And this phase requires, as Google found in their study, 7 hours of exposure to your brands, products, and teams across 4 different locations and 11 different touchpoints before they're ready to make a buying decision. And how do consumers reach those 7 hours of exposure? Through content, videos, blogs, social media posts, podcasts across multiple platforms and multiple formats. So here's what this means for you. If you don't have a process in place that manufactures those 7 hours of trust before prospects speak with you, your likelihood of the sale drops significantly. You're leaving it up to pure chance. The trust is built in those 7 hours before you ever interact with them, and higher amounts of trust are required, especially for high-ticket sales, as your price rises. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. This is Jason, a business coach who is spending over $9 per registration on his ads, and after implementing this content system and linking one YouTube video in his ad campaigns, his cost dropped from $9 to $1.67 per registration in just 2 weeks. That's 7 times lower. And he told me he's almost gotten as many signups for $80 as when he was spending over $500 for those signups. Or here's Evelyn, a marketing coach who's made over $9 million online. She made $10,000 from her very first YouTube video of us working together by signing 2 new high-ticket mastermind clients. And after 92 days of working together with consistent content, her views were up 55%, she got 8,800 hours of watch time, and gained 1,500 new subscribers. But here's what matters: she replaced sales ads now with cheaper lead generation ads because the content was doing the selling for her. Or here's Curtis, who said it perfectly.
And really accelerated the buying process for me.
This is the power of manufacturing those 7 hours. Content builds trust at scale. It controls the conversation your prospects are having in their mind and positions you as the expert before they ever talk to you. And Alex Hormozi does this. Dan Martell does this. Every major personal brand is repurposing long-form content into shorts and reels because it works. So the question is, how do you actually build this system? Now, the ADP system has 4 core components. Let me walk you through each one and how they work together. Component 1, the long-form foundation. The first piece is YouTube. This is where you create the 7 hours of trust. Here's why YouTube specifically is the only platform where people actively go to learn. They search for answers, for education, for solutions to their problem. And unlike short-form content that lives for a few days, YouTube videos continue to drive targeted traffic for months or even years. The first ever video I uploaded on YouTube got me my first high-paying client and is still getting views to this day. You don't get that with Instagram Instagram Reels. So the goal here is to create 8 YouTube videos per month. These are 10 to 15-minute videos where you're teaching something valuable, sharing a framework, walking through a case study, the kind of content that actually shifts beliefs and positions you as the authority. So you might be thinking, that sounds like a lot of work. But here's the thing, you only need to film for about 4 hours per total, including ideation. That's it. You can batch 2 videos in one session if you want, spread them out through the month, whatever works for you. And you don't need any fancy equipment either. Literally a phone and a $20 ring light from Amazon is more enough to get started. Because great content isn't about production value, it's about clarity and value. The more authentic you are, the better it performs. Now, here's where the leverage comes in. Those 8 YouTube videos, each one becomes 9 pieces of short form content. So you're getting 40 clips pulled from your YouTube videos, which is 5 per videos, plus 32 additional pieces created from your transcripts. Those additional pieces include B-roll plus text videos, where you take key quotes from your videos and layer them over B-roll with music, and scripted talking head videos, where AI helps rewrite segments from your transcript into those short form scripts. And this is how you hit those 11 touch points across 4 different locations. Your YouTube creates the deep trust, and your shorts and reels create the omnipresence and actually drive traffic back to YouTube. Someone might see your reel on Instagram, then a short on YouTube, then another reel on Facebook, and before they even know it, they're clicking through to watch your long form content because they keep seeing you everywhere. Now, you can't just post random videos and hope it works. You need a strategy. And this includes video ideas, meaning what topics actually attract your ideal clients, what questions are they asking, what beliefs do you need to shift before they're ready to buy. Then scripts, your videos need structure, a hook that grabs attention, a clear framework, stories that illustrate your points, and a call to action that moves people to the next step. Titles and thumbnails, these determine whether anyone clicks on your video in the first place, and repurposing prompts, knowing which segments to clip, how to write the captions, and which hooks to use for short form. So these are the strategic layers that most people completely miss. They hire an editor and say, make me some content, without any framework for what the content should actually accomplish. Good content shifts beliefs. It takes someone from not knowing who you are to seeing you as the obvious solution to their problem. That requires strategy and not just editing skills. And finally, you need people to execute this, because let's be real, you don't have time to edit 80 pieces of content per month. You have a business to run. This is where people make a big mistake. They hire a cheap $3 an hour VA or editor on Upwork and expect them to not only edit the videos, but also be great at writing captions, understanding social platforms, posting to different channels, and managing all of the content. The problem, those editors don't get it. They don't understand your business, your audience, or what actually converts. You're gonna end up frustrated, going back and forth, and ultimately do most of the work yourself anyway. What you actually need is 2 key roles. First, you need a content strategist who understands your business, your audience, and how to craft content that converts. This person isn't just an editor, they're thinking about video ideas, writing scripts, analyzing what's working, and making strategic decisions about your content. Second, you need a video editor who can execute the vision. The video editor will be handling the technical side, the cuts, B-rolls, effects, repurposing. Some people can do both roles, but typically you want to find someone who specializes in the strategy piece, and then either they handle editing or they work with a dedicated editor. And yes, you can find incredible talent overseas for a fraction of the price of what you'd pay in the US. We're talking $1,000 to $2,000 per month instead of $5,000 plus, but, and this is important, you need a real system for it. Finding people, vetting them, and trading these people is very important, because otherwise you're gonna end up with flanky freelancers who don't understand what you're trying to achieve. So here's the full system. 8 YouTube videos creating the 7 hours of trust, 72 shorts and reels creating omnipresence and driving traffic back to YouTube, a strategic framework guiding what content to create and how, and 4, a team that can actually execute without eating up all of your time. When you put those 4 pieces together, you got a machine that manufactures trust at scale, lowers the ad costs, and makes sales calls easier than ever before. And the best part, you only have to show up for 4 hours of filming per month. Everything else runs without you. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This makes total sense, I can see how this would work, but there's a lot that goes into making this happen. And you're right, let me be completely transparent with you. Building the system from scratch is not easy. There's a reason why most people never get it off the ground. Here's everything you need to figure out. The strategic layer. You need to identify the exact topics that will attract your ideal clients. You need to understand which beliefs you need to shift before someone buys from you. You need to craft scripts that are engaging, valuable, and move people onto action. You need titles and thumbnails that get clicks. You need to analyze what's working and what's not, and adjust accordingly. You need to get comfortable filming, which for most people, everyone's terrible at first, don't worry about it. You need to batch your content efficiently. You need the right prompts and processes to repurpose long form into short form. You need to know which clips to pull and how to make them engaging on their own. And then you need to write detailed job descriptions. You need to screen hundreds of applicants to find the right people. It's a lot. I think I'll stop. I think I'll stop now. I'll show you the whole list on the screen, which is in my script, but there's no point in reading it all out. And this takes time, lots of time. So if you're starting from zero, you're realistically looking at 3 to 6 months of trial and error to get the system dialed in. That's 3 to 6 months of hiring and firing editors who don't work out, creating content that doesn't perform and trying to figure out why, wasting money on people or tools that don't deliver, pulling your hair out trying to manage everything while also running your business. I know that because that's exactly what I went through, and honestly, most people give up before they ever see results. They try for a month or two, don't see immediate traction, and go back to running ads or relying on referrals. And they never build an asset that could actually transform their business. So here's why I want to offer you an easier path. Everything I just walked you through, the strategy, the team, the system, the content creation, we've spent over a year building and refining this exact process. We've made all the mistakes, we've tested a dozen of different approaches, and this 80 pieces of content system is what resulted from this. So now we install this entire 80-piece system into businesses just like yours. So here's what this means. We handle the strategy, we work with you to identify the right topics, craft the scripts, create the titles and thumbnails. You're not guessing, you're following a proven framework. And then we handle the production, you show up and film for 4 hours a month, and we do everything else. The editing, repurposing, the captions, the posting, all of it. And we provide the team. We've already vetted, trained and managed content specialists who know exactly how to execute the system. And of course, we provide the systems, project management, posting schedules, performance tracking. It's all set up for you from day one. You will get 8 YouTube videos and 72 pieces of short form content every single month without having to manage any of it yourself. And once we started using YouTube videos for Jason, his ad costs dropped 7 times in 2 weeks. And the first video we did with Evelyn together got $10,000 in sales from her first video on YouTube because it built that much trust and it showed people the next step to her mastermind. We've done this for dozens of clients now, coaches, consultants, course creators across every niche you can imagine, from business coaching to yoga and even meditation. And the results speak for themselves. Lower ad costs, easier sales calls, higher quality leads who show up already trusting you. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't for everyone. If you're not willing to even get on camera, the system won't work for you. Or if you're making less than $10,000 a month in profit, you're probably not ready for this level of investment. I would focus on dialing in your offer first and then coming back to content later. If you're looking to get famous or you just care about vanity metrics like followers and views and not actual sales, this isn't the right fit. Because honestly, some of our videos barely get any views, but they convert, which is what we focus on. So if you're serious about building a brand that makes selling effortless, if you're tired of expensive ads and low show-up rates, if you want prospects coming in to your sales calls already convinced they want to work with you, then this is the fastest path to get there. Here's the reality. The window is closing on this. Right now, most content on YouTube is still mediocre. Most high-ticket businesses aren't doing this consistently, but that's changing fast. Alex Hormozi is going all in on content and screaming at everyone to go all in as well. Dan Martell is doing the same thing. Russell Brunson, who spends millions on ads every month, recently said on his podcast that he's revamping his entire strategy to focus on organic. These people see where this is headed and they're getting ahead of it now. 3 years from now, there won't be a competitive advantage anymore. It'll be the table stakes. Everyone will be doing it. The pie of available attention will be split into smaller and smaller pieces, and it'll become more expensive and harder to break through the noise. The brands you're admiring right now with millions of followers, they just started 3 to 4 years ago doing exactly what you need to be doing today. That's the only difference between them and you. So you have 2 paths forward. Path 1, you take everything I shared in this video and you go try to build this yourself. You spend the next 3 to 6 months figuring it out through trial and error. Maybe you get it working, maybe you don't, but either way you're investing a massive amount of time and energy into building something that's not your core business. Or path 2, you let us install the entire system for you. We handle the strategy, the production, the team, the systems, everything. You show up for 4 hours of filming and the rest we take care of. Within 30 days, you're publishing 8 YouTube videos and 72 pieces of short form content. Within 90 days, you're hopefully seeing the same results our other clients are seeing. Lower ad costs, easier sales, higher quality leads. If path 2 sounds like a smarter move, then here's what to do next. Below this video, you'll find a link to fill out a quick application. It takes about 3 minutes. We'll review your application. If it looks like a good fit, we'll book a call to walk you through exactly how this would work for your specific business. Now, I do want to set expectations. We're not taking on everyone who applies. The ADP system requires real fulfillment on our side. So we're creating over 80 pieces of content every month for multiple clients, which is nothing. So we're intentional about who we work with to make sure that quality stays high. But if you're making at least 10K a month in profit and you're spending money on ads and you're serious about building a content system that actually drives sales, then fill out the application and let's talk. Either way, whether you want to work with us or you build this yourself, I hope this video actually gave you a clear roadmap on what's actually required to make content work at scale. Because here's the truth, organic content isn't optional anymore. The customer journey has changed. People need those 7 hours of exposure before they're ready to buy, especially for high ticket offers. The businesses that figure this out will dominate the space over the next decade. The ones that don't will be left wondering why their ads stopped working and why they can't close deals anymore. So don't wait, start building the system today. And if you want our help doing it, click the link below and we'll talk soon.